Hello, I am Tatiana Bárcenas and I'm a graduate student from the University of Calgary. For my research project, I will determine the prevalence of alveolar and intestinal echinococcus in dogs living in the cities of Calgary and Edmonton. I will also study how dogs' outdoor behavior and hunting habits made them susceptible to Echinococcus multilocularis infection and the risk factors associated with the transmission of this parasite to dog owners and veterinary professionals in Alberta.
Echinococcus multilocularis is a multiple-host tapeworm whose life cycle involves rodents as intermediate hosts and canids, including foxes and coyotes, as definitive hosts. Moreover, the shared habitat range between Echinococcus wild hosts and domestic dogs within urban landscapes has favored the establishment of this tapeworm in several cities worldwide, where dogs act as proficient hosts and transmit the parasite to humans. In 2016, an estimate of 21% of the coyotes living in Calgary were infected with intestinal echinococcus.
Interestingly, the highest rates of infected coyotes were found in the same areas as the highest rates of infected dogs, suggesting that the parasite was being transmitted between them. Alveolar echinococcus is a primarily hepatic disease caused by the larval stage of Echinococcus multilocularis. It ranks as the third most relevant foodborne zoonosis in the world, and it is estimated to affect more than 18,000 people per year globally.
In North America, alveolar echinococcus human infections with local strains of the parasite have been increasing in the last decade. Particularly in Alberta, human cases have been reported to be infected with a European-like strain, now endemic to Canada, the same one that has been detected in local wildlife. So what is the role of dogs in the urban life cycle of Echinococcus multilocularis? Dogs are dual participants. They can act either as definitive hosts, contracting intestinal EM infections and spreading the helminthic eggs through their feces, but also as aberrant intermediate hosts when they ingest eggs from the environment or auto-infect themselves during an intestinal infection and develop canine alveolar echinococcus. And how is this parasite transmitted to humans? Humans also become accidental hosts and may develop alveolar echinococcus with lethal outcomes if untreated, as they ingest infective eggs in contaminated food or transmitted by their pets. However, there is evidence that contact with dogs is the strongest risk factor for getting the disease. Our project goals are: estimate the prevalence of intestinal versus alveolar echinococcus in client-owned dogs in Alberta. Estimate the risk of exposure to Echinococcus multilocularis for animal health practitioners and dog owners. Identify the risk factors contributing to the occurrence of both forms of Echinococcus in dogs. Determine diagnostic criteria for early diagnosis of alveolar echinococcus in dogs. So how would your clinic participate? Your crew would provide online questionnaires to dog owners of randomly selected dogs. We will ask you to collect blood and feces from the volunteer dogs, and we will pick the samples at your call.
What are the benefits of participating in our research?
Most importantly, you will prevent the risk of exposure to echinococcus for your veterinary crew, your clients, and for the transmission to other patients in your clinics. Secondly, you will be able to provide your clients with tests for the presence of intestinal and alveolar echinococcus in their dogs. And lastly, you will contribute to a One Health research that seeks improvement of public health and animal welfare for the Albertan community. The significance of our project is twofold. From an epidemiological perspective, we expect to fill gaps in knowledge and the risk of exposure to Echinococcus multilocularis for domestic dogs, animal health practitioners, and dog owners in Alberta. From an ecological perspective, we will be able to provide information about the contribution of dogs in the urban cycle of Echinococcus multilocularis and the risk factors associated with its transmission to wildlife and humans.
Finally, we think that the public outreach of this study is exceedingly valuable for the protection of our community. Therefore, our findings will be distributed to as many animal health practitioners in the province through the Alberta Veterinary Medical Association. The results will also be available in open access journals and brochures for the general public. We look forward to having your participation. It will benefit us all.